Well, the American weekend of cricket is here and the series is alive. India finally hit their strides in the third game in Guyana, and that means India and West Indies enter this Florida leg to conclude this five-match T20I series with the series at 2-1, West Indies leading as we enter the fourth game in Lauderhill. I have to wonder what the Americans are thinking about a 10:30 a.m. start amid heat and chances of rain. As I say good evening to Wasim Jaffer here in India at a more regular hour for us. Wasim, the first thing I have for us is the name of this ground. We're going by Lauderhill, but just for the benefit of our viewers, this game is going to be played at the Central Broward Regional Park Stadium Turf Ground. Do you want to repeat that name after me?
Central Power Regional, something like that. Cricket
Central
ground.
Broward Regional Park Stadium Turf Ground. I'll give it to you. I can't say it out without looking at the piece of paper. That's about as American as the name of a cricket stadium gets.
They like everything short, but this name is far too big.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's been nearly 96 hours between two games. Usually India give us that much time between series. This time it's been between games, so I guess I'm still finding my feet. Apologies to our viewers for that sense of humor. But the most important bit is that India have arrived in the US, which also will be one of the venues. This is a ground that will see a fair amount of cricket at next year's T20 World Cup. And they come here, Wasim, having kept the series alive with a good performance, and they have, you can see that they trust in that setup because I had asked you in the preview whether you expect India to go in with the same 11, and they have, and they are backing their wrist spinners, their three spinners to do the job even at what can be a high scoring venue in Lauderhill.
Yeah, I mean, I expected that as well because if you take out one spinner, then it put a lot of pressure on Hardik Pandya and probably sixth guy to bowl, and that can be Tilak Verma. You don't know if Akshar Patel is going to finish his quota of overs, so you don't take that chance. So I expected to have the same team, and you expect the seven batters to do the job, and Team India exactly went that way.
Yeah, and they will get to bowl first. Will this Indian lineup, just to take you through it as again, Yash Jha, remember, had got the go ahead of Ishan Kishan. He got his T20I debut in that third game, and then India have got Sanju Samson donning the gloves, and the five bowlers plus Hardik Pandya, three spinners in there. One thing of note, Wasim, to me is Paras Mambre's comments in the lead up to this game. He's spoken about how Yashasvi Jaiswal and Tilak Verma are being groomed as part-time bowlers. Now, on T20 timeout, on ESPN Cricket for Match Day, we have discussed for a long time about India's need to have their batters bowling. While that's a good step, would you like to see them actually get some proper game time of bowling in these two games, because that is the next step up, right?
No, I don't think they are ready to bowl at international level. I think Tilak Verma can because I've seen him bowl a little bit. But Yashasvi Jaiswal, you still have to wait. They are encouraging them to bowl probably more in the nets. And as in when they come back into domestic cricket, you'll see them bowling, and they should also because India clearly lack one of their batters to turn their arm over, like we always talk about the 2007 or 2011 World Cup winning team. They had so many options from the top order batsmen who could bowl. So no harm in grooming because I know Yashasvi Jaiswal can bowl decent leg spin, but still I would say it's not international standard. Same with Tilak Verma. I mean he can be groomed into a decent off spinner because when you get so many left-handers in the opposite side, you can squeeze in one or two overs from him. So I think he is probably ready to bowl if and when Hardik Pandya feel confident about it. But Yashasvi Jaiswal still a while to go.
Now, this is a question that came up quite a lot during this IPL season with the introduction of the new impact sub. Now, I need to flip it around while we are in the middle of internationals. That impact sub ruling in the IPL meant that these bit part bowlers, especially domestic bowlers, their role didn't exist because you now have specialists to bowl. Is this where the adverse effect of that rule, in that those batters who can bowl a little bit now will not get bowling in the IPL, and as a result, they're not used to bowling at the highest level?
Exactly, that's going to happen. Uh, the guys who can turn their arm over for 1 or 2 overs could be their sixth or seventh option in the side. They'll probably won't get to bowl because you'll get uh, a specialist guy coming in as a sub or an impact, and those guys won't be groomed. I mean, that's why probably we didn't get to see Yashasvi Jaiswal or even Tilak Verma bowl in the IPL. So that is, one negative point I can talk about it. Even the guys probably, don't get to field also. So many batters used to bat and don't used to field, and that is not a good thing because that doesn't happen in international cricket. So those two things actually, doesn't work because of the impact rule. But you need to groom them as soon as they come into domestic circuit or they play for India. You need to encourage them to roll their arm over because India definitely need those sixth and seventh bowling options.
Yes, and every time Wasim Jaffer speaks about India needing batters to bowl, take it seriously. He was part of the last 11 where we saw everyone bowl, which was also in West Indies. Quite the sight that was, Wasim. But let's focus on the batters in their primary suit. We have seen stop-start pitches, barring Surya Kumar Yadav's knock in the third and Tilak Verma through the series. We have felt the Indian batters would have hoped for pitches that give them more. Lauderhill, traditionally high-scoring venue. Is this then just the recipe someone like a Shubman Gill is looking for, given the barren run he's had all through the Caribbean leg, and also for someone like a Yashasvi Jaiswal or even a Sanju Samson?
Yeah, I think the Indian batters and West Indies batters will enjoy probably batting on this pitch because the history suggests it's a comparatively small ground, very good batting wicket. And sometimes when you're not in a good form, you come through some difficult pitches. That's exactly what you want. So both the batters from both the sides will enjoy batting it. West Indies have the taste first, and then obviously India, especially the guys who haven't made runs or made a significant contribution in the ODI and T20 series. They'll probably enjoy batting it here.
Yeah, and West Indies, we can tell you, have made a few changes. Jason Holder, who missed out in the last game with a niggle, he is back. Odin Smith gets a game. Shea Hope gets a game. Shea Hope replaces Johnson Charles, who had not been among the runs, and Holder replaces Roston Chase, who had come in for him. And Odin Smith is in as well, which is in place of Alzari Joseph. So West Indies do still have the four seam options in Kyle Mayers, if you include him, Romario Shepherd, Jason Holder, Odin Smith, and Obed McCoy. Akil Hussain will be the sole spinner. Looking at their batting, Wasim, when you look at that lineup, and they have been fairly consistent, you have to give it to them in their selections with the batting group, you get the feeling they are hosting the next T20 World Cup. That middle order of Puran, Hetmeyer, Robin Powell would be key to how well West Indies fare in T20 cricket. Between the off that trio, Puran and Powell have been among the runs, but Shimron Hetmeyer, who only returned to this West Indian setup after quite a while outside, has had a very quiet series. He only made 11, 9, and 4 in the ODIs, and so far, 3 T20s is 41 runs of 42 balls. He's seemed to have his troubles against spin. Has that surprised you, given what you come to expect from Hetmeyer?
I am a little surprised because he's a quality player. He's played all these bowlers in the IPL and has done well for Rajasthan uh, across the teams. So I'm a little surprised over a period of 6, 7 games he hasn't shown uh, his form. But I expect him to come good. He's a quality player. He's a good finisher. He plays spin well. When he gets going, he's a dangerous player. So they would want him to come back into form because a lot of it depends on Nicholas Puran and Robman Powell. I think the addition of Shea Hope probably going to strengthen that number three position also. And obviously, you need the top order, those two openers to fire as well. They've got quality, but they need to fire. At the moment, it's a lot dependent on Puran and Robman Powell. The other guys need to chip in as well.
And in that sense, when a Hetmeyer looks at his struggles and his troubles, is there a lot to borrow from Puran himself? Now, we've acknowledged that Puran is among the best spin bashers out there. And yet, if you go back to that first T20, where Puran did end with 41 of 34, he had no qualms in playing out Kuldeep Yadav and taking on the others. Is that then does that become an important part of learning how to attack which bowlers to pick?
I think, yeah, when he comes into bat, usually it's either Kuldeep Yadav is bowling or Yuzi Chahal, or both of them bowling at the same time. And in T20 cricket, you can't afford to have, one or two relatively quiet overs. So he has to, take the chances. And that's where his downfall has come. He's failed to pick Kuldeep Yadav throughout the series. He struggles against Yuzi Chahal as well, even though they both play together. But yeah, I mean, though whenever he's come out to bat, those two guys are operating, and he's found it hard to get going. But something he need to find a way and get going because they are going to bowl bulk of the overs after the power play. So he need to find a way to get going.
Right, and that will be key to what kind of a score West Indies can pose as they bat first. There is a chance there has been rain around, which will suit the American audiences, but I hope for our sake that doesn't prolong this evening. Assuming a non-stop game, Wasim, what sort of score do you expect West Indies to get, and will that be enough?
I mean, last time around it was close to 200, and that was chased down pretty comfortably by West Indies, I remember. And even India coming down and chasing a very close one, losing by almost a run or two.
Yeah.
So around that 200 mark, I would say. If India can restrict them to, if it's a similar kind of pitches, then if India can able to restrict them to 180, around 180, I think India will be happy.
All right. So could be a high-scoring game, and we know we've been waiting for it. We haven't seen one of those T20s yet. Would be good to get an old school high-scoring thriller. The game Wasim alluded to, of course, one of an all-time classics, lost in the melee of several bilaterals where West Indies made 245, India made 244, two needed of the last ball, and Dhoni fell to Bravo. India lost by 1 run. Let's see if this one is anywhere close to as exciting. Wasim, thank you for your time. Look forward to your company after the game. And that does it from us on ESPN Cricket 40 T20 Timeout. Thank you for your company.